Use the library and internet to do research on the beaver and its habitat, create beaver habitat dioramas, and write stories using the information gathered. All right, that seems easy enough. All right, so here is my beaver habitat diorama. So here is the little beaver here, and he's swimming in the water, which is something that beavers often do. And here is his little beaver house, which is made of, fallen branches and mud and stuff. And this happy character is the sun. All right, and now are you ready for my well-researched beaver story? It is called Billy the Beaver. Once upon a time, there was a beaver named Billy. He lived in northern Ontario, which was a statistically common place for a beaver to live. His favorite foods were tree bark and aquatic vegetation, and his hobbies included working on his dam, spending up to 15 minutes underwater, and communicating through a complex system of anal secretions. But Benny was lonely, so one day he went to the beaver singles bar and met Benita. They lived together for many years in a monogamous fashion typical of their species, and had an average-sized litter of 2 to 4 kits. Then one day they were all killed by fur hunters, which was a dominant industry that played a critical role in the colonial settlement patterns of North America at the end. All right, I'm doing good at this. Section 3, the national flag of Canada. Use construction paper to create your own Canadian flags to hang on the walls of your room. Students will enjoy seeing their own flags, and your classroom will be decorated with Canada's colors. That sounds easy enough, but you know, some people actually have a hard time drawing the Canadian flag, but I can teach you how to do it. See, people have a hard time with the leaf on the flag, but it is really just a series of 3 points. 1, 2, 3 at the top, like this, and then 1, 2, 3 on the right side, and then 1, 2, 3 on the left side, and then 3 points at the bottom, like this. There you go. Now we just cut it out. Okay, section 4, the maple leaf. All right, this is a big one. Have a maple leaf hunt. Go outside to see if there is a maple tree in your neighborhood, find leaves on the ground, and use them to make beautiful maple leaf collages for your classroom. All right, I can do that. So here we are in fabulous Caribou Park in Burnaby, British Columbia. This is a park I used to go to a lot as a child. As you can see, it has lots of beautiful trees everywhere, including lots of maple trees. When I was a child, I would come here with my parents, and my father would rake the leaves into a big pile for me and my sister to jump in. So I am going to hunt around and see how many beautiful maple leaves I can find for my collage. Now check this out. It is my beautiful maple leaf collage. Got it all framed and everything. You can see I got a wide variety of different kinds of maple leaves in various states of decay. But we are not yet done with maple leaf related activities. Take a field trip to a place where your group can see the process of how to make maple syrup or other maple products. Enjoy tasting some of the sweet treats for yourself. Now, unfortunately, even though this would be a very fun and photogenic thing to do, there are not actually maple syrup processing facilities in the area of Canada where I live. I think the closest ones would be on Vancouver Island. This is something that happens in much more rural parts of the country than where I live. But I do have a very good backup idea. So here we are at the airport gift shop, which I think any true Canadian could tell you is the single best place to buy maple syrup related products. I mean, just look at this selection. In addition to boring old maple syrup, we have maple caramels, maple popcorn, maple peanut brittle, maple dark chocolate covered cherries, maple coffee, maple tea, maple stroop waffles, maple smoked salmon. This Beanie Baby's name is Maple. All right, and now are we ready to see some of the fun maple treats that I bought? As a Canadian, I have obviously eaten a fair number of maple flavored things in my lifetime, so I tried to go for some unique ones that I had never tried before. So I got these maple blueberry shortbread cookies. They just taste like ordinary shortbread cookies that maybe somebody has dumped a cup of maple syrup into the batter. And next we have these maple syrup and sea salt roasted peanuts. These are good, but they don't really taste mapley enough. Swing and a miss, Gourmet Canadiana Products Limited. And lastly, we have these, which I am most excited for, maple gummy bears. Okay, these are just weird because you have the maple flavor, but then you also have the fruit gummy bear flavor. So the result is such an overwhelming cacophony of flavor that you don't really taste anything other than sweet. I'll still eat the whole bag though. All right, next up we have the arms of Canada. Look closely at the arms of Canada and discuss the importance of each part. Discuss where the arms are hung and why. Well, luckily for me, I already made an entire video about this topic, so if you are interested in learning more about the arms of Canada, I highly encourage you to check that one out, but I can probably do a quick rapid-fire montage of it. Basically, a country's official logo appears all over the place. We have a lion, unicorn, another lion, a crown, weird helmet thing, big shield, a bunch of flowers. It is almost an exact plagiarism of the British one. Anglo pride, now fully independent of Britain, it would literally take about 5 seconds to come up with a better one. Have students develop a motto and create their own arms to show the items that are important in their lives. All right, time for another fun art project. All right, so here's the JJ coat of arms. You can see we have an orca whale on this side, which is one of the symbols of British Columbia, where I come from. And then you have a Koopa Troopa on this side to celebrate my love of Mario. At the top, you have the Canada flag and the American flag, because those are my two favorite countries. And then there's the little hat, which is a symbol of democracy, because I like democracy. And then at the bottom, we have XX, Roman numeral 10 and 10. J is the 10th letter of the alphabet, so JJ. Thought that was pretty clever. For the motto, I wanted to go with something good and pretentious, so I thought maybe a Latin quote from the Bible. There's a good line in Ephesians 4:25, Loquae mini veritatem une quias, or speak truth to every man. I try to live by that philosophy. For the main part of the coat of arms, I thought I would take some inspiration from the Canadian coat of arms and just have some symbols of ethnic origin. So this is the British, Dutch, and Italian flag to celebrate that I have British, Dutch, and Italian heritage. And then over here is the ancient French flag. Yes, I know, big shocker. Noted francophobe JJ McCullough actually has some French heritage on his mother's side. Moving on, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Have a member of the RCMP come to your class to talk. Prior to the visit, brainstorm questions for the class to ask. If it is not possible to have someone visit, write a class letter or individual letters to the RCMP to learn more about the force. Now, I actually did reach out to the local branch of the RCMP to see if maybe they had a person who would be willing to go on camera to answer some of my questions about the force. And they were actually kind of open to the idea, but you know, my deadline was pretty tight and they have a lot of other priorities. But a spokesperson did agree to answer some of my questions through email. So here it goes. I tried to come up with questions that I thought foreigners might be interested in learning. True or false, the RCMP are the police force for all of Canada? True. The RCMP is Canada's national police force and will be celebrating its 150th anniversary in 2023. Where are the RCMP headquarters located? The headquarters of the RCMP are in Ottawa, Ontario. What do RCMP people think of the nickname Mountie? Is it okay, or is it considered offensive? We call ourselves Mounties and don't find it offensive at all. I've even heard that the Queen calls us her Mounties. Do RCMP officers still wear those famous uniforms with the red jackets and the brown hats? We do wear the scarlet tunic, also known as the red serge, for formal events. We don't wear it as a day-to-day uniform any longer, though. Big thank you to the British Columbia RCMP for humoring me through this. All right, Section 7, Canada Goose. In the fall, go outside and observe Canadian geese preparing for their journey and or flying in their V formation. All right, so here we are at fabulous False Creek Park, right in the shadow of the TELUS World of Science, one of Vancouver's most beloved local landmarks. This is an area where Canadian geese tend to congregate. It is right in the middle of the summer, so obviously they are not making any plans to fly south anytime soon. There is a big crowd of them right behind me, in fact, so we can go and see. Canadian geese are really quite horrible creatures. I don't think anybody in Canada actually likes them. All they do is poop and hiss. They're also incredibly comfortable around people, so it is very easy to get up close to them, although they will probably bite you. You can see how they just eat all of the grass until it's just barren wasteland, and then they all flock to wherever a few scraps still remain. I'm actually going to attempt to do something that I was always taught to never do as a child, which is to feed them. I have a little bit of bread here. Let's see if that throws them into a frenzy. Okay, they're swarming pretty good now. You can see how close I'm able to get. All right, that's done. What's next? Ice hockey. Take your students outside on a nice winter day to play a game